Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Missional AI podcast. And this week we are going to be diving into everything that is going to be happening at Missional AI Global Summit happening in Silicon Valley in April. And so if you haven't yet signed up to get your tickets, we would love you to come and join us, because if you do, then this episode is going to make way more sense to you. We're going to be joining together a gathering of nearly 1,000 Christians working across the worlds of mission and AI, as we dive deep into how AI is both transforming the world of mission, and for those Christians who are working on a mission in the technology field, what it might mean for them. And to get into that, I'm joined by a couple of the lead committee team to take you through what's going to be happening over the 3 days. We're going to discuss why this year is going to feel so significantly different, but also how we keep the heart of the community alive and well in the way that it has been growing over a number of years now. And we're going to give you some tips and tricks of how you can navigate the conference yourself and make sure you can find your people and find your community. So in this episode, thank you so much to have Joshua Seale and Yvonne Carlson joining us. And Joshua, I know people will know you from having seen you at the conference perhaps, or maybe seen you on previous episodes, but maybe if someone's joining for the first time, this has dropped into their inbox or their podcast feed. What do you do and what's your history with Missional AI?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Joshua. I am the Senior Director of Digital Products at Biblica. That's my main day job. The main thing I'm focused on, I'm very focused on our Bible engagement efforts, not taking our translated Bible text and seeing them distributed mostly in under-resourced communities around the world, using AI, using apps, using a variety of things. But that's my main day job. My role here is I've also been a part of putting on the Global Missional AI Summit now for the last 4 years, and love being a part of this community, love what this community is about, and really love what this conference does in our space to bring people together, to accelerate collaboration, and to really, really delve deep into the kingdom potential of this technology.
So good. Thanks for being with us, Joshua. And Yvonne, long-term involved in the conference as well, and I'm so glad to be with you. We were together a couple of weeks ago talking about it at NRB. Yvonne, tell us a little bit about what you do and what your involvement with Missional AI has been over the years as well.
Sure. So my day job is CTO of Global Media Outreach. And what we're doing is using digital advertising to reach the world with the gospel and connecting them to online missionaries. So AI is definitely part of my day to day. I have a background in software engineering, so I really love that this gathering pulls in builders. I think this is a great place to really scratch that itch, whether you're super technical or you're a leader trying to just figure out what AI means to you. I'm excited about this year. And I actually came in to Missional AI from the very beginning. It was connected to Faith Tech, and I've been involved with Faith Tech for a number of years. So I'm excited to see it grow and continue to flourish.
Yeah, I mean, it has grown significantly over the years. I know that when we were together last year in Dallas, where I am recording from actually today, just up the street here, we were gathering nearly, I think it was over 500, nearly 600 leaders working in mission. And that has changed a lot. We've seen the community grow over the past couple of years, originally out of the Bible translation arena, and increasingly into people that are using AI to build kingdom initiatives in other places. And last year was hallmarked particularly by a real arrival of people working in the big technology companies as well, who are seeking to find people to connect with. So as we think about how we go into this year's global conference 2026, one of the big changes is we're taking it to Silicon Valley. Can you guys just unpack for me a little bit why that decision? Why is it important for us to be in amongst the technology community in Silicon Valley?
Yeah. I would say for me, I think for us, it's always felt inevitable that we would be in Silicon Valley. It was not a question of if, it was a question of when we could make that happen. For context, we first year was virtual. We spent 1 year in Dallas, 2 years in Orlando, last year back in Dallas. We've been growing and scaling where we can, mostly with churches, but we really felt like this year it was time to really make a step up in terms of overall experience. And part of that as well was we thought we should really see if we could make the jump to Silicon Valley, where this technology is being developed, where the leaders in the space are. And we ultimately decided to do that, and ultimately really tried to weigh the pros and cons. I think one of the perceptions in the space is that California is extremely expensive and a bit difficult, especially in the ministry space. But the reality was, as we priced out a few different cities, 4 different cities, Atlanta, Dallas, Orlando, And Silicon Valley, it was only the second most expensive and only slightly more expensive than the cheapest city. And so we thought for that trade-off, it was worth it to be in this space where leading people in technology and AI are. We had obviously a number of people last year join us from Meta and Google, flying halfway across the country, which was great and amazing. But we really thought if we could have it in their backyard, we would have a big opportunity to just engage a lot deeper with people from big tech and big labs. And so, yeah, I think that's been our perspective and just experience over this last year after last year's summit was, if it was only those trade-offs, we felt like that was a trade-off worth making.
Yeah, absolutely. Yvonne, for you, over the past couple of years, we've seen this group of practitioners coming from industry coming into this space, so obviously an area that you know really well. What has that meant for you, and like how that's changed that community? And then again, coming back to we're putting this back in their backyard, how do you think that's going to make a difference?
I love that we're going where the innovators are, right? So Silicon Valley is where we've seen major innovation over decades. So if you think about the Gutenberg Bible and that Christians have been innovating for centuries and centuries, this is like the epicenter. So I love bringing in people who are working in big tech companies so they can have a voice in this movement. Often they're seeing things we're not. They see where these models and the products are going before we do, and they desperately want to serve God in their workplace. And they can do so in this very moment by joining this conversation and contributing to what we are referring to as redemptive AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And those frameworks, it's important, isn't it, that they're not just coming from inside the church and trying to express themselves outwards, but they are informed by believers who are inside of the real epicenter of creating this content and creating these experiences. So I love that. I think it's so important that we get them involved. And you are involved. If you're watching this, then you probably are already involved. And we're so glad that you're coming. And so I'll just kind of take a moment to say that if you haven't yet got your tickets, then now is the time to get involved. And we would love to see a real community of believers who are working inside the big firms, inside of the labs, in the startup community. So if that is you, then don't miss out on this opportunity to be with us in April in Silicon Valley. You can get all of your information to join the conference at missional.ai and sign up, get your tickets, join the room block. We look forward to seeing you there. So let's talk about how this year is going to be different in terms of content and in terms of the theme in particular. I think it's fair to say that 2026 has seen already a bit of a shift in the conversation more broadly. We're dealing with ethical issues, with AI intertwined with government, and with the agentic age really taking center stage in the overall AI conversation, one that's been emerging for the past couple of years. We had a number of talks about AI agents last year in Dallas, but with the inventions of OpenClaw recently, its founder going to be inside of ChatGPT, recent launches of Perplexity Computer, as well as all of the additional changes that come with Claude Cowork. I feel like the conversation is going to expand this year. It's not just about conversational AI anymore, but this agentic theme is really coming through strongly. So Joshua, just talk to us a little bit about how the conference theme is evolving this year, the types of content that people might see, and how that might move the overall ministry conversation along as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this conversation continues to evolve every year. I would say that there are new opportunities, new trends when it comes to AI in the ministry space. Our theme this year, the official theme, is advancing redemptive technology for human flourishing and the mission of God. I would say we are really trying to take a comprehensive and long view for how this conference can serve our ecosystem. We really do believe that this community that has been grown over these last few years, that you all have been a part of and have joined and participated in and engaged with, is one that we want to serve with the right thinking, the right understanding, the right questions to ask. And I will say, like, one thing we're trying to be very intentional about this year is to actually have a broad overall narrative theme of where we want to take people who are coming to the conference. In the past, we've honestly just thrown as many interesting and amazing people into keynote slots and tried to just fit in as much as possible, which in some ways has made a great summit. But we realized this last year that we just didn't give enough space for one, networking for people to connect with each other. And we definitely saw that as a key piece we wanted to improve. And two, we really want to go together on a journey when it comes to where we think this technology is going and how it relates specifically to the space. And so I think I'll speak a little bit to the broad themes that we're looking at. I'll just walk through it really quickly. So for day one, we are looking at starting with innovations in AI, specifically as it relates to this space, to get our minds a little bit blown by what is going on here. The next thing that we'll be going into is kingdom AI, looking at what are the kingdom implications. How can we build this technology with a kingdom mindset and a kingdom perspective? Thinking a lot about not just building responsibly, but building redemptively. The next segment will be global perspectives on AI. We really believe that some of the most interesting things in this space are not necessarily coming from North America, but rather Nairobi, Bangalore, Singapore, etc. And so we really want to hear from global
London. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, London, but
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding.
We're trying. We're trying to keep up, guys. We're trying to keep up.
We got London, Luxembourg, and Charlotte on the phone.
That's right.
Where we keep it. We definitely are a global group. So global perspectives on AI, we'll be hearing from some leading leaders from the global space, specifically the global south, which we're really excited about. And that will be the end of day one. Day two will be acknowledging the risks and challenges. So really looking deeply at what are the challenges that are posed by this space and how should we be thinking about it. And then at the end of day two, it will be AI in the Imago Day, which really pulls us back. We'll definitely go a little bit low on day two, but really try to end it with a perspective around let's root ourselves in the image of God and how we build with this technology. And then for day three, we're looking at funding AI. We really do believe that we really want to understand how we could build capacity or see capacity built for AI ventures in this space. Nothing pains me more than seeing loads of brilliant AI builders that aren't able to see their initiatives see the light of day because of funding or resource challenges. And we don't necessarily have all the answers to that or fully know how to fully sort that out as a movement, but we really are passionate about trying to have some of those conversations and trying to bring some of the right people around the table to help us think about and understand that. And then finally, the conference will be closing with ethics and standards, really thinking about how we really should be thinking about and how we want to put standards and ethics in place around this technology, specifically in the Christian and missiological context.
So good. I mean, what a packed schedule. We are going to have a lot still to get through. But I think in all of those topics, everyone can kind of find their place and the areas that they're most interested in. Just to kind of come back up to this overall theme, and maybe Yvonne, I can ask you about what you think of this. This language of human flourishing has really, I think, found its way into our discussion when it comes to AI, more so than I've heard it before. Just what does that mean to you, and how is that kind of helping us, that language helping us as we think about our engagement with AI in this year's conference in that theme?
Love that we're heading in this direction. At the end of the day, technology will either enhance humanity or detract from it. So the fact that we have a group of independent thinkers from all over the world coming together to think through what does it mean? What does it actually look like in practicality to build products and experiences that lead to flourishing? This is the quintessential question I think ethicists, builders are asking ministry leaders. I could say, is it leading me to Jesus or is it leading me away from Jesus? I've heard it put that way. So I'm excited that we have the opportunity to help people come up with language or have language to have this discussion. I think sometimes you don't even know what questions to ask. At the end of the day, what does human flourishing mean? It's much more than self-actualization that you would see, when you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's that mind, body, and soul, we are oriented towards heaven and that we are growing in our faith. And building experiences, I'm working on something right now that actually do that. It's easier said than done because every little thing you do, every decision you make, it is impacting the spiritual formation of an individual.
Yeah, and I think you're right that spiritual formation is one of the key areas that we need to discuss right this year. Like I think so many of the conversations we've had, in the global event that Joshua and I both participated in a couple of months ago with our friends at CV, one of our sponsors for Missional AI. Thank you for all that you guys are doing at their Digital Day event in London. We talked quite deeply about this idea of formation and also the role that technology has in developing our character and developing our understanding of ethics and morals. And I think that centering that, particularly in the middle of this year's event, is going to be important. I feel like the past few years we've spent a lot of time unpacking the could we do this, and I feel like now we're really digging into the should we do this. Like some of these kind of technological challenges have been quickly overcome, and like we're now reckoning with kind of the idea of super intelligence and those kind of things. Is that a realistic thing for us as a community, as Christians, to be engaged with? Like, do we have the ability to move the needle on this conversation? Yeah, we've spent a lot of time over the past couple of years moving this conversation towards the should we do this, away from just the could we do this. We've wrestled with the technology. We are looking down the barrel of people talking about AI consciousness and super intelligence in the tech community. And Christians, we think, have to show up there. But is it realistic that through the conversations we can have at this year's conference, but in more general as a community, do we think that can really move the needle in this conversation and help form that should we question?
Yeah. No, I think we absolutely need to show up. And I think there's an imperative that as followers of Jesus, as the church, we really need to make sure that we are thinking deeply about this, that we are not just ignoring, but engaging with the role this technology is playing both in society, in global affairs, and what the church is doing. And I just think one thing I've been very proud of about this movement is that we've been relatively early to AI, where I think in other technology shifts, such as social or even mobile, I don't feel like the church necessarily showed up as a whole in a similar way. But I don't know if any of you all saw this, but this was the Economist article from December.
Give
The
us the
byline
title for the people that are listening to us rather than watching.
Yeah, so it's Climbing the Tower of Babel. Christian missionaries want to translate the Bible into every language by 2033. I'll just read this one line. The Bible is already the most translated book ever. It is available in full in more than 750 languages, but they would like to see it in the world's roughly 7,000 living tongues. To achieve this, believers are enlisting new tools for their spiritual quest, artificial intelligence, and it actually outlines a lot of what has been going on in the Bible translation space of missional AI, and even quotes Daniel Whiteneck. So go Daniel. Nice to see you quoted in
Good job, Dan.
see you quoted in The Economist. But I think the reality is even The Economist recognizes that there's something going on here and there's something important. And that's one thing we actually want to hear from some of our Bible translation friends that have seen some good success in what they've done in this space, and share that with those of us, the rest of the community. I think that we really need to show up, and we really want to take a proactive step in order to show up as a community, as the church, as followers of Jesus who are building with technology, that we're not just sitting here reacting, but we're actually trying to think deeply and actually address the challenges, but also the opportunities adequately.
And we're back with the team from the leadership of Missional AI. I'm joined again by Joshua Seale and Yvonne Carlson. And we're talking about where the future of this community is going to go in 2026 and beyond, because this is a big milestone marker in our year as we gather everyone together in Silicon Valley for conference. But it is a part of a broader movement, a conversation that's been happening across the years, and the community itself has been broadening. We've seen more and more people joining from different sectors, from different areas. We were just talking before about how this has emerged from the Bible translation arena. We've seen people from other missional and kingdom-focused organizations. But Joshua, as you were taking us through earlier, some of the things that we're going to see over the 3 days of the conference, you spoke particularly about where we're going with innovations in AI. And it seems that we are going to have more to talk about in that space than ever before. Just talk to us a little bit about some of the key talks and contributors that are coming in to help us point to not just where we've come from, but where we might go to in the coming years. And then, Yvonne, I'd love to hear from you on what in particular you're excited about to see the conversation move forward this year.
Yeah, when we look at the innovations in AI section, we have a few key leaders and people talking to things. So the first is that we will be having Pat Gelsinger, the executive chairman at Glue, speaking to us about what Glue is doing in this space, which we're excited about. We've really want to just cheer Glue on and all that they're doing. Having gone public this year, it's all been very very incredible, and we're excited to hear from Pat, who is obviously industry veteran, um, OG technologist, and really love his heart for this movement. After him, we'll have Bobby Grunwald, who's the CEO and founder of YouVersion. Obviously, they are one of the few organizations in this space that have scaled to over 1 billion people, and we really love their heart for Bible engagement and for seeing people have God's word wherever they may be. God's word for everyone everywhere, as they would say. But also, I think one of the things that's compelling is they are using AI actively, but not in chatbots, and really using it in other layers of their technology. And I think for me, that's one thing that I'm excited to get some different perspectives about how AI is being used and utilized. And then lastly, in that section, we will be having Wendy Lord from The Chosen sharing a bit about how they've used different AI translation tools to take The Chosen into multiple new languages. And so, I would say the innovations in AI section will be a great one. We're excited to hear from these leaders.
Yeah, we're so excited about what's going on with The Chosen, with the team at 5 and 2, and everything that they've been doing to leverage this technology as well, not just for amazing kind of translation work, but also content creation too. And we've seen that that is one of the things that is coming into this year's conference, maybe in the way it hasn't been before, is so much of the AI advantage that's been found in the past year has moved into things like content creation, into discussions around worship and prayer. And the conversation is broadening, I feel. We've got more than ever to talk about. Yvonne, for you, what are some of those kind of maybe new areas that are evolving or emerging that you're excited to dig into this year?
So I'm seeing people really embrace enterprise AI. So AI for any task, for any automation, for any job. And I hear people talking about the future. How can I augment my staff using agents, for example, not to replace them, but to extend them? So I love the idea of building capacity for individuals, whether that be someone in finance, someone in the creative department, or someone who's a frontline ministry in ministry who wants to just know what Bible verse to share with someone in a conversation. And for me, the other piece is ethics. This really ties into the biblical ideal of what it means to be created in the image of God. And I love that we have leaders like John Lennox and James Kelly speaking to that. What does it mean to be honoring of my personhood while I'm using this technology, because this technology does question what it means to be human. So we're going to talk about that. And I think you're going to be really surprised as to where we land. And remember, we're a bunch of Bible translators at the beginning here. So this is deeply rooted in the Word of God. So this is not just tech speak. This is really how do we align biblical worldview with the use of technology. And I'll have to say, I can't wait to see the demos. We're going to have some really good demos of interesting new things that people are doing. So I'm looking for those.
So good. Well, like I say, if you have not yet decided to come, maybe your finger is still hovering over that checkout button to buy your ticket and to get into the community. I don't want this whole episode to be a plug, but it kind of is. It's time for you to do that now. So we would love to encourage you to head to missional.ai, go and sign up to come and join us and hear from some of these amazing people, because this community has grown significantly in the past couple of years. And that's what I want to maybe address for people who are coming back, who have been for a number of years now. Joshua, what are we doing to help people find their people? As these things inevitably grow, people get nostalgic for when it was small and when it was easy to navigate and it felt like a little crew of 50 people huddle around a coffee shop. But we're shooting for nearly 1,000 people here coming into the valley. Many newcomers. We're seeing lots of people who are already registered. It's their first time coming. So just tell us a little bit about how we're going to help people navigate the space, find connection, and help kind of dig deeper into the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing we noticed last year was that we felt like we needed to give more space for people to connect. Obviously, people were doing that anyways throughout the summit. But the reality was we were at a borrowed space last year at 4 or 5 o'clock when we needed to be out. We needed to be out because we were at a church. There was Wednesday night service. And so I think one of the things we are excited about is that we don't have those restrictions this year, that people can connect as early and as late as they would like. And we don't need to chuck people out at the end of a day when conversations are happening and when connections are being made. So I would say that's one element that we're looking at. A second element is that we very intentionally put in connection sessions within each of the days. And so we actually have significant blocks where we want to get people together, both from an identity point of view. So where do you sit in an organization? Are you in the C-suite? Are you an innovation leader? Are you a developer? Are you an entrepreneur? So we want to break the community down into those levels and have facilitated conversations with different groups to be able to help really uncover what some of the challenges and issues are in real time. We do feel like you can get great things from experts, but the reality is our community is amazing. And we have so many talented and brilliant people that we really felt like there's a tremendous value in getting people together intentionally to connect with each other, to hear from each other, and to share what issues are coming and to see what would come out of that. So we have a connection session focused on identity. We also have another connection session that is a significant session that's focused around domain. So if you're in the Bible space, whether that be engagement or translation, that'll be one part of it. Evangelism, advancement and fundraising, or the church, like we also want to get people together in those groups and to connect. So we really thought, we want to get people together in one sense from what identity or hat they wear, but also mix them all up the next day in order to could happen when you get people together who are thinking about similar problems. And I think it's exciting. We don't, obviously know exactly what's going to come out of that. But I think one of the things we realized this last year is that we needed to give space for more of that serendipity. And we actually are deciding to do less talks in order to really make that connection valuable. And we really believe that that's an important element of this year's summit, is that we really want people to connect with each other and really understand and share what challenges, issues, and opportunities are before them.
So good. Yvonne, maybe I can just ask you, you and I spend a lot of time, in fact, we see each other most of the time at these big conferences and events. Sadly, we don't get enough kind of just coffee shop chat time together, but we spend a lot of time at these things. Just what are some of your kind of thoughts, tips, perhaps preparation suggestions for people that are coming? This is 3 intense days of a lot of content, a lot of opportunity. Not everyone is the extrovert that wants to kind of go and dig into a bunch of new connections and conversations. Some people want to just sit and listen. Like, what would some of your advice, having seen this grow over the past couple of years, be to people that maybe are coming for the first time or coming back and can sometimes struggle with these things?
I would say, first of all, try not to miss a single session. Now, I'm an INTJ. That means I'm an introvert. So yes, you might be in the back row taking notes and listening, but be in the room. I think it's really important for people to see you. You never know when you're going to have that hallway conversation. I have met some of my closest friends at Missional AI, including the gentleman here on the screen. And God is definitely connecting people. That's what's amazing to me, that people coming from all over the world, God is making divine connections. So you have to be in the room in order for that to happen. I always say, make sure that you have that tribe that you're walking alongside. And this is where, you're getting out your phone, you're sharing connection information, but don't just get that contact and not follow up. Journey with these people, and they will. And that's what I like about this community. Some conferences you go to and people will say, hey, I'm going to look you up. I'll make sure to follow up. And it doesn't happen. This is not that tribe. We are relational, and we're brothers and sisters in Christ, and we want to journey with one another. And this is where it's also great for you to share who you are. Like, again, Joshua was saying that there's some brilliant people in our midst. And let me tell you, really, some of the experts of the experts are in your midst. They're not going to tell you they're an expert. A real expert would never do that. They're not going to have a "here, I'm an expert" button. But this is where, just even in line while you're getting your coffee, saying, hi, hey, my name's Yvonne, my name's Joshua, my name's JP. What brought you here? And even if you're an introvert, you can manage that. And I promise you, you will not be sorry for having that conversation.
Yeah, so good. Well, I think that's a great place to kind of wrap things up and prepare ourselves. A couple of things to flag to you that we are beginning to fill up. Rooms are going super quick at the room block. So if you have not yet signed up and got yourself booked in to stay at the Marriott while we are going to be together in San Jose, now is the time to do that. If you haven't yet got yourself a ticket, then go and do that. If you have got yourself a ticket, maybe this is the moment that you sit and think, who are the 3 or 4 people that should be there that are not there yet, and send them the link. And that link is missional.ai. You'll find all the information you need to get tickets, to subscribe to the podcast. We would love it if you do subscribe to this show if you're listening, and maybe this is your first time listening to the episode or watching us on YouTube. Drop a subscribe, drop a follow, whether you are on Spotify or on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And join the Slack community as well as we begin to prepare ourselves to engage as we head towards Missional AI. Joshua, final thoughts from you. Anything else that you would ask the community to think about as they prepare coming to this year's Global Summit?
Yeah, I would just say prepare to be engaged in almost every way. I would say we've thought a lot about how we can hear from, very smart, brilliant people. As Yvonne mentioned, Dr. John Lennox will be speaking throughout. We have an exclusive interview that we recorded this last month with him. Never before seen content, really delve deep on all the themes of the conference to get his thought. And if you don't know Dr. Lennox, A, just Google him. You'll learn a lot. But B, he's just one of the most preeminent and brilliant academics in this space. He's a mathematician by official training, but also just has a huge heart for theology, science, and AI. And this book, 2084, it's just an incredible book on kind of the implications of AI in this space, what a lot of the risks are, and also what some of the opportunities are. So we're excited to engage people on a very cerebral level. As Yvonne also mentioned, throughout, we also will be hearing a variety of different pitches and demos. And so one thing we really want to do is be inspired, not just talk about this stuff, but actually see it. So we have over a dozen different demos and pitches that will be going on throughout the summit. So also want to inspire people in that way. And then also too, we have all the engaging sessions, the connection sessions. And yes, I'm an introvert too. I am an INFJ. So I'm with Yvonne. I literally got on a plane on Friday and I'm so happy not to talk to anyone as I fly back to Europe. But the reality is this community is special, and it's a community that we really love to connect. And as Yvonne said, there are the most brilliant people in this specific space that are here, and they're all around you at the summit. So I would just encourage you to really lean in, to really show up, and really just stay present with the conversations and the discussions to be had.
Well, so good. Well, thank you both for everything you are doing as we prepare to come together. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Missional AI podcast. Like I say, subscribe and join us for future episodes. We're going to be digging into the future of agents, where things are moving in the missional community, the future of digital technology in Bible translation, and much more in the coming weeks as we lead up to the summit. And we will see you, I'm sure you'll be there. We'll see you there in person in Silicon Valley, first week of April, right after Easter, at the Global Missional Summit. But for now, Joshua, Yvonne, thank you so much for taking the time to unpack everything that's coming. We're praying for you. We're praying for what's going on in the community. And we're praying for you at home as well as you prepare to come and join us. So thank you so much for being with us. And I've been James Poulter. I'll see you on the next episode.